So Malta.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Welcome back to the SpewnedIt Podcast.
Yeah. Firstly, what a country, right? Like, if you're Maltese, then wow, you live in an amazing place.
You've done well.
But yeah, no, it was incredible, bro. It was honestly amazing. So I got back yesterday. I'm still kind of finding my feet because it was mad. Basically, so I flew there last Wednesday first thing in the morning. My mum, bless her soul, she took me to Manchester Airport. So it was like an hour. So she was able to get there and get back before work. But she still did it. Love my mum. Shout out to my mum. And so she drove me there. I didn't quite get back until like Wednesday early morning, which was yesterday on the day of recording, day of filming. And it was mad. So my flight was super early Wednesday morning because that was the cheapest flight. So that means I checked out of my hotel on the Tuesday. I'd stayed with some friends in the hotel that they were staying at until the Wednesday night. We kind of went out for dinner together. Then we came back, just kind of hung out at the bar for a couple hours. And then I went off to the flight. So no sleep at all. So then on the flight was at 8 a.m. in the morning. I am struggling by this point. Like, my head is dropping. I'm going in and out of sleep. Then my mate comes and picks me up. And again, I'm kind of like falling off, dozing off in the car. And then finally get back home, put some stuff in the wash and sleep for like 5 hours from like midday till about 5 o'clock. Wake up, watch England play football and win against the Netherlands. That was huge. We'll probably talk about that at some point with the Copa America going on, of course. We'll chat about that in a bit. But then, yeah, and so it stayed up for that and then just went straight back to bed. And then last night I slept about 9 hours, man. So I'm still woke up and I was still a bit like discombobulated. Where on earth am I? But it got into the sleep where I wasn't going to get any more sleep, or any more rest at that point.
Yep.
So yeah, but it was great. But yes, so the week was just fantastic. So the main reason I'd gone out there was to see this event that was taking place that was called the Queens of Soul. So it wasn't like a tribute act. It was more of a performance to Tina Turner, Aretha Franklin, and Whitney Houston. And the reason that I was going to go out and see it is because my uncle, who used to work for the BBC, he's still kind of connected with them. He produced really this event, and this was the 5th one that he's done. And so I've always said, Uncle Ant, I want to see you do one of these events, right? Because they're so cool. He's such an incredibly talented guy, and a lot of the reason I love radio right now is I think actually due to him and his passion for it. So we could that's another thing we could dive into at some point. But I was like, look, I'd love to watch you do one of these before you retire. That was actually quite a big dream of mine to be able to do. So he was like, look, come out here, we'll look after you, we'll be able to hang out, have a bit of a holiday, and you can come watch the event. I'm like, great, easy, say less. I'm organising the flights right now. And then, just a couple days before I go, so this may have been I don't know, maybe the Monday before flying, so it was a Monday last week, and he's like, look, actually, would you be able to step in and help out with the backstage crew? And I'm like, yeah, of course, that's fine. I just want to help out. I'll actually be there for the event, so I won't be able to see it kind of from an audience perspective, but I'll be able to be involved in the build-up process, and I will be able to be a part of the event. I was like, that's really cool. That's great. And so I was like, I wasn't too sure what I'll be doing. I was like, I might just be a runner, right? Just telling people that, they need to be close to the stage or something like that. Maybe just getting water. I was like, it'll be cool, though. It'll be cool. And so I go there, and then I realized that, actually, I'm going to be what is called backstage left, right? So if you're on stage and you're looking out to the audience, backstage left is on your left-hand side. So from the audience, it looks like it's to your right. But there was me, and then there was this other lovely lady who was the other side, backstage right. And basically, our job was to tell people when they need to go on stage. And when they come off stage, it's like, right, do you need to stay here or do you need to go to the other side? So me, Anthony, and this other lady, we've got comms on the whole time, and we're just chatting, making sure everything's going well and going smoothly. And on it, and yeah, it was just amazing. It was so cool. So got there on the Wednesday, didn't see any of the team. Saw Anthony later on at night when we went out for dinner. That was cool. But then Thursday we had a rehearsal in the morning, went to go see the stage and do a few sound checks later on. On the Friday, we had a major rehearsal in the morning, final sound checks, got the dancers involved and let them kind of figure out the stage. And then the performance was on the Friday night. And it was just, it was electric. The atmosphere was incredible. And it was fantastic. So as soon as I drop down in Malta. Basically, it was like boom, boom, boom. It was go, go, go. And yeah, oh man, honestly, it was so cool. It was so cool. So it meant that I could chill out a couple of the days after. So like Sunday through till actually Saturday was we were kind of like recovering from the day before because it was such a heavy day. But all the way through then till Tuesday, was able to just like kind of kick back, enjoy the time there, and yeah, just do a bit of exploring really. And there was plenty of that done. But yeah, I mean, I know that I wasn't alone like while I was out there, but technically it was like my first solo holiday going anywhere. And honestly, I cannot recommend it enough. It's such a good thing to be able to do. If you're in the opportunity where you can, obviously, with you, like, you're married. And so that doesn't mean that the potential is completely out of there, but it does mean that, you and B obviously going everywhere together. But like, for me as a single guy, I'd say please do go for it, because I think you also, it encourages you to just chat to random people. Like I was chatting to all sorts of people. We'd be on the ferry going from one place to another, and I'd either make a comment or I'd compliment someone about their shirt or their outfit, and then you just start chatting because you're like, well, I don't have anywhere to be. Like, and actually, I just kind of want to get to know these people, and I think it's quite a good skill to have.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's nice. I think you can realize, oh, okay, actually people are quite lovely. Often you just need to actually have the time to talk to them. And just, but sometimes you need to kind of have that proof really to see it. So yeah, I mean, cannot recommend Malta enough. What a beautiful, beautiful place. And cannot recommend going on a holiday on your own somewhere as well. Like it's so good, because like you're on your own time really. You could stay where you want, you could spend as much money on that as you want rather than doing the exploring. But like, I loved it because I was like, well, if I want to go somewhere, I'm going to go there. And I think usually I'm a bit of a facilitator. So like, I don't know, maybe like you, if you'll be like watching or listening to this, you can relate with that a little bit. Whereas I'll be like, oh, if someone else really wants to do this thing, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go do that. That's kind of cool. Like, and I'll just be able to be there for them. And that doesn't mean that I shut up all the time, but because it was just me, I was like, oh, I want to go do this, so I'm going to go do it. Yeah, it was great, man. It was great. Have you ever been?
Never. No. I know very little about Malta except for a cut scene from Age of Empires 3 where they're all from Malta and they have cool accents. Although I want to say his accent was like more Scottish or something. I don't think. Okay. I don't know what a Maltese accent sounds like. I'll have to look that up. But let me ask you this: what kind of adventures did you go do? You mentioned a ferry. What are you doing out there? Quad biking? Are you there? A boat tour? Cool. What activities can we look forward to on our next visit to Malta?
So a couple things. Yeah, for sure. So there were a couple really, really good and just quite easy things to do. So a lot of what was going down with the performance and where my friends were staying was in the capital city, which is called Valletta. If you say it in a Maltese accent, the T is often a bit softer. I think it's Valletta. So it's kind of like there's a bit of a the off the end of it, and so that, I don't know, that was really nice to hear someone say it like effortlessly. Obviously, I say it with much more effort, but they were way nicer with that. So that's the capital. Absolutely gorgeous. Like the amount of picturesque places there are. I'll send you some photos at some point because I could not put my phone down. So that was amazing. And so a lot of Malta, because it's such a small place, a lot of these amazing places are they're very close to the coast, if not like on the waterfront. So Valletta is one of those places. I was staying kind of like one, I don't know, you could call it almost like one harbour across. So there was like Valletta, and then there was, like a harbour dock type thing. And then I was staying in this place called Sliema, which is also stunning. I think it's got a real place in my heart. And so to get from one place to the other, you could like take the roundabout trip, but that would take ages. To be fair, it's not ages. It was like an hour's walk, or like maybe like a 20-minute Uber, 20-minute taxi. But between those two cities, there was this one ferry that would go, and it was going it would go every half an hour from one location, but it would go 15 minutes back and forth. And so I used to take this every morning, every evening to get back from Valletta to Sliema. And it was just incredible because first thing in the morning, you got the sun beaming down on your face. I'd kind of have a coffee and I'd just be like, good, just going with the day at that point. In the evening, it's been a long day, and so I just kind of need to relax, and you see the nighttime view, and honestly, the skyline was just incredible. And so that was one thing that was just a part of my day, like every single day. And it was like, what was it? I think it was like €2.50 for like for a return. So that's like £2 for back and forth. And I was like, that's outrageous. That's incredible.
That's
awesome.
That
was nice. Just having that as a part of the day was amazing. On the what day was? I think this was the Monday. On the Monday, I went on a boat trip that was kind of going around all of these harbors and exploring it a little bit more. I think we went to the very bottom of Malta as well. That was incredible, very beautiful. And then later on in the day, I went to this place called Medina, which is also known as the Silent City. And so, like, you are able to have vehicles inside the city, but they're certainly not common. Like, I think you've got to pay a tax, or there's got to be a reason for you to go into it. And so that means that, like, the air is incredibly fresh, and the sound is like, yeah, it's silent, but not in like an eerie way or a scary way. It's just so incredibly peaceful. And all of the streets are quite narrow as well. And so you're looking up and you've got these like beautiful like sand-colored buildings, and all this architecture with like cathedrals there and everything, and then amazing views, and all these lovely little cafes dotted around the very edge of it, looking out for like miles and miles and miles. And so that was incredible, and that was one of the real times when I could just say, right, I'm just gonna go off and I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna kind of like have a cruise about, and we'll see what happens. So I went to there. I went to St. Paul's catacombs as well. So like these underground burial sites, which were like, obviously they've been incredibly I don't know what's the term I'm trying to think of. Like they've been made open to the public. So obviously they're very safe, and they've been very just made available to people. But that was like very cool. Very much felt like I was in an Indiana Jones film. Really, like I'm going down to these places, and I was like, oh my gosh, they were exciting. So yeah, that kind of got my heart pumping. And some of those were incredible. I'm trying to think where else I was able to go. I think those were some of the standout places. I think the Medina trip was absolutely amazing, because that was
awesome.
me.
Yeah.
It was lovely. It was lovely. That was me kind of genuinely on my own. With one of the cars, with one of the members of the show, one of the ladies who was doing all of this singing. She's incredible, actually. She's doing a show in London at the moment that hopefully I'm going to be able to go see. But she was sticking around for a few days afterwards, and she was like, Joel, do you want to kind of like go out for a day and just have a bit of an explore? And I was like, I met this lady like 2 days ago, but obviously we'd worked together so much over the show. So I was like, yes, of course, let's go do that. And so we went to, I think we... what was the name of the place that we went to? Well, we went to these they were called like the Baraka Gardens, and so they were absolutely incredible. Just this lovely, super picturesque little area, where you've got sort of this like mid 30-degree heat, but with the lovely bits of shade, just looking over the waterfront. And so we went there. We had a bit of an explore and just kind of cruised about and chatted and had lunch. And yeah, it was just that was great. I'm going to see if I can try and remember what the names were of that. But there, again, so many kind of cathedrals around. So we went and we stood outside this one that was called St. Julian's Cathedral. That, again, stunning. Like, just the architecture of the place is so incredible. It does make you feel like you're in a film everywhere you go, because everything's so picturesque and everything is so it's got this this effortless beauty. Like it's just there, and it's magnificent. Do you know what I mean? It's so good. So yeah, like just an incredible place to go. And I mean, I wish I could have stayed longer. I really wish I could have stayed longer. It got to the end of the trip, and I was like, man, that was over far too soon. So yeah, if you are going to go to Malta, I'd say yes. But I would say give yourself I don't know, even if I'd been able to go for like another half a week or maybe like a week, I'd say if you can, give yourself 2 weeks, because there are some amazing places to stay. A lot of the cafes as well are dirt cheap. Like, it's crazy when you think about and see how expensive places like in the UK, or I imagine quite a bit of the US are as well. Just some of those base level prices. Like, I remember I was consistently getting like a super nice breakfast, like a freshly made coffee, a croissant, and a couple other maybe one other item, and it would cost me like 3-4 euros. So that's like £3. I think that's, and it may be something. Well, I don't know. Actually, is the euro to the dollar, are they pretty similar?
I would imagine fairly, yeah.
Anyways, it's not going to be anything outrageous. So yeah, so like $3-4, and it's at this lovely little cafe, and you've got like the scenery outside. I was blown away by that kind of thing, day after day after day. So yeah, just honestly, just an incredible place, just an incredible place to be. Yeah, cannot recommend it enough. It was beautiful. It was incredible.
Sounds like a great trip. What kind of food are you eating over there? You mentioned cafe food.
Yeah. So a lot of the, I'd say a lot of the influence is Italian.
Yeah.
Like there were lots of sort of Italian treats, Italian coffee. Plenty of kind of like pizza, pasta that is just amazingly well done. But also being so close to the coast on like all fronts, and being on the I think they're in the Mediterranean Sea as well. Like the fresh fish is just all the time.
Nice.
Every time you go out to a restaurant, the specials are some sort of fish dish. Like I remember having this kind of like salt and pepper calamari, and the portion size was massive, and it came out with this like, I think it was like this tartar sauce type thing, and I mean that was just fantastic. I went to this other place and I had this like this arancini type thing where do you know what those are? They're like sort of these. So you've got like this mixture in the middle, but then there's like this dough with breadcrumbs, I think it is, on the outside. That's probably like just deep fried super quickly. And then like you cut into that, and that was amazing. So yeah, like the fish is so fresh out there.
Nice.
I remember my uncle. He was having like a he had like this lobster pasta dish. And the sauce was absolutely mind blowing. It was crazy. So I think there are plenty of like Italian influences when it comes to sort of the food. I think in terms of like the culture and the language as well, there's quite a lot of that as well. Yeah. Being just off the boot of Italy, if you want to say that. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of influences from that side of thing. I was chatting to a friend earlier on today actually about this. In terms of thinking like where else there would be like that kind of influence from, and I don't think I couldn't really come up with anything. I think the majority of it is Italian, but I think Malta is very much its own place, and it is it just kind of it stands proud with that, which I like a lot. I really, really do. It was incredible. Yeah, an amazing place.
Cool. I'm picturing, again, I haven't ever seen or been there really, but is it more like rocky, like elevated kind of beach town area as opposed to like flat, sandy? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do know what you mean. So there are obviously particular beach areas, but a lot of it is just kind of like cut off straight to the water. Do you know what I mean? So in terms of like in the cities, there isn't really much of a beach area.
Sure.
But there's that kind of thing. But there's plenty of like there's plenty of sort of rocks that will go. So there'll be kind of the buildings up here, then a bit of like a bit of like a cut off. And even if it's just kind of the walls or whatever of the city, and then sort of some low-hanging rocks that will kind of dribble into the sea, and so you'll find plenty of people on there just all the time, kind of sunbathing and enjoying the place, and being able to get to the sea there. But that's kind of like the I don't know, the aesthetic of it, if you want to say that. But yeah, it's incredible, man. It's incredible. Really, really cool place. Yeah.
Yeah. Feeling like I need to plan a trip there sometime. Sounds cool.
I think you'd love it. I think because also like the amount of films that have been done out there, like Game of Thrones is constantly being filmed out there. The first Gladiator, they did some stuff out there as well with that. Yeah, have you seen the trailer for the second one?
I have.
Watched that last night. It looks crazy. Excited. It looks crazy. Can I tell you something though?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the first one,
bro. If you said that in front of my younger brothers, Kai and Tegan, they would like that. I think that movie and RRR, the Indian film. It's like this like epic. Those two films, I haven't heard them preach to anyone as much as
the masses.
Those two, yeah, it's crazy. They like, I think for them, Gladiators, each of their favorite films individually, and then RRR is like the one they tell everyone to watch whenever they say, "Hey, what should I watch?" But Gladiators are terrific. It's incredible. You should.
No, I know, and I do. I need to watch it. I really, really do need to watch it.
It's a classic as well.
But yeah,
soundtrack is
I'm kicking myself and have not seen it yet. But I am going to get around to that because I think like after seeing just pieces of Malta like that as well, like Do you know what I mean? I want to see that in a film.
100%.
I really want to see some of that in a film.
100%. I'm curious what.
Yeah, man, incredible.
What shows up in there? Well, anyway, what a trip, dude! Thank you for sharing with us. That truly sounds awesome. I'm glad you had such a great time. Well deserved.
Yeah, thanks.
Of
man.
course,
yeah.
And even the working part sounds cool. It sounds like you're just on stage in the mix. That sounds amazing as well.
Getting involved, yeah.
And hanging out with the performers afterwards. So how much better can it get?
Yeah, it's cool.
So yeah, with that, I would say, unless there's anything else you wanted to add or leave us with.
I mean, I think like I know I kind of said this before, but obviously it doesn't have to be Malta, but please do explore. Like, the world is an incredibly big place, and I think at the moment it is so accessible. And I know that obviously, Jens, you and I have had the privilege of growing up in another continent, another country.
Yeah.
And just what that did, I think, for our mindset, I think it reminds you that actually, like, the little things that we go through as people and that we battle with, like, it's not that they're invalid, but it's like the world is a massive place. Like, you are going to be okay. That there are people battling with this similar type of thing, and so you're not alone in what you're going through, I guess. And just having that mindset is a good reminder that, okay, actually, I am. My problems aren't bigger than me. Like, I am bigger than my problems or issues or the stuff that you're working through, whatever you want to call it. And part of kind of realizing that is seeing the world, because the world is also a beautiful place. It's very easy to get trapped in one little place. And I think in particular in the UK, I don't know if you've found this, Jens, with people in the US, and without generalizing too much, a lot of people in the UK will not go out of the city or the country that they live in.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, look, I understand that sometimes it's not accessible, and sometimes it's just not doable, especially if you've got a family. And times are tough at the moment, so I'm not wanting to, again, invalidate people's situation and their living situation. But if you can, like, there are ways you can sort it out. There are super cheap flights. I'm not going to give away any names because I think there are a few that come to mind, and they're not paying me to advertise for them. So, but like, you can figure stuff out like that. And I think what it'll do for you and what it'll do for your kids and the future generation is it's invaluable information to take on board. So yeah, travel if you can, wherever it is, because it really opens up your mind to just the better things in life, I think. So yeah, definitely give it a go whenever you can. And I don't know, off the back of this, let us know your best traveling stories, or like where is one place that you would really like to go, and if there's a reason for it, or if you just want to explore. So yeah, let us know about that in the comments. But while you're here as well, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay up to date with everything the SpewnedIt boys are doing.
And watch Gladiator.
And watch Gladiator. It's so bad.
And visit Malta and talk to strangers. That is one thing. I like that you said talk to strangers. That's cool. I think that's a skill very few people have, and I think it's pretty cultural, especially in like Western culture, to not talk to strangers.
Yeah.
So I think it is slightly different, like on vacation. But I mean, not that all those people are on vacation, right? But I think it's just a cool mindset. Be like, hey, not everybody has to be a stranger. It doesn't have to be scary.
Yeah.
You just get to know people. And people quite often enjoy talking about themselves. They like sharing their experience. And
exactly,
I think it's just cool. And it's I think that's an undervalued and underutilized, part of life, is just meeting strangers in random places and having a chat. So
yeah, well said. No, I like that.
Yeah.
And often I think that can be, it doesn't need to be a massive change. Like, all I remember doing to mentally prepare for that is that rather than every time I was traveling, putting my headphones in and listening to music, I was like, actually, I'm not gonna listen to music. I'll listen to people's conversation, and if I feel like I can tap in or just say hi, then I'll do it. And if the opportunity doesn't arise, I'm not gonna be cross, but it just means I'm more, receptive, I guess, to people and to the conversations they're having. But yeah, give it a try and get in touch, and the SpewnedIt boys will be back very, very soon. But Jens, thanks for asking me about that, man. That was a lot of fun to talk about. I enjoyed that a lot.
Thank you for sharing, and everybody, thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed, like we said before, leave a comment, tell us where you'd like to go, watch Gladiator, be nice to people, be kind, and
nice.
God bless. We'll see you next time.